everyone, I'm Susan here for our next Tuesday Shelf Talk. Today I'll be talking about The Poppy Wife by Caroline Scott. This book was reviewed as part of our Adult Summer Reading Challenge. This is a World War I historical novel which we hold in regular print as well as an e-book on Belinda BorrowBox. In the wake of the Great War, many survivors have been reunited with their loved ones, but Evie's husband Francis has not come home. He's considered missing in action, but when Edie receives a mysterious photograph taken by Francis in the post, hope flares, and so she begins to search. Harry, Francis's brother, fought alongside him. He too longs for Francis to be alive, so they can forgive each other for the last things they ever said. This is the story of the thousands of soldiers who were lost amidst the chaos and ruins, and the even greater number of men and women desperate to find them again. We had a number of reviewers for this one, and one said, "This was an extremely thought-provoking book, delving into the grief of women who were left as widows after World War I, but also exploring the often neglected story of the men who survived and the hardships they had to endure. I found this particular narrative so engaging because I could picture the towns and villages that the protagonists travelled to, having travelled to these places myself, although I can only imagine the sights the characters would have seen as the book was set in 1921, only a few short years after the war had ended. The 21st century is a long way away from the destroyed villages and lives of 1918. I also enjoyed the breath of fresh air that this was a unique story. Each day there seems to be more and more novels published about World War II, which I also enjoy. However, I loved reading a unique tale about World War I. Any lovers of historical fiction will enjoy this book, but it will also appeal to a wide range of audiences, as at its core it is a story of relationships and how we deal with hardships and manage to move on with our lives. Another reviewer said, "What a book! British historian Caroline Scott's debut novel is a stunning read. It explores an age-old question when returning from war. Is it better to have survived or have died? This is the question Harry Blythe certainly struggles with. He has taken on the task of photographing the final resting places in France of many fallen soldiers from Manchester, England, during World War I, in answer to a need by the parents and/or wife of the deceased soldier. Does seeing a photo of the final burial spot in a cemetery, often with many hundreds of thousands of graves of other soldiers, bring home the reality of their loved one's death? Does this bring closure or peace to the loved ones making the request of Harry? Harry served in France during World War I. What are his motives in taking on such an onerous and heart-wrenching task? Scott does an outstanding job of exploring these very questions by introducing us to Evie Blythe, who's determined to find out if her soldier husband actually died in France or is just missing in action. A mystery letter containing a photo of her husband, much older and so unlike the husband she married, arrived in the post 4 years after her husband was assumed missing in 1917. Edie and Harry, supported by other well-described, believable characters, slowly reveal their stories. You're amazed at the rebuilding of communities devastated by bombs, tunnels and razing of buildings so that the enemy doesn't receive any advantage in the days and weeks ahead. It's almost impossible to believe that you can recover a sense of normal in yourself, your interactions with fellow survivors, and in your surroundings after facing the destruction of war. Scott's writing paints vivid images in the reader's mind. Scott's book delves into new territory with this tale featuring the background of World War I and its aftermaths. You, as the reader, feel the emotions with her characters. A special book featuring a memorable plot and characters from the perspective of a little-known aspect of our history. The Poppy Wife is a beautiful, haunting and unforgettable story. So you may enjoy this book if you've liked stories like The Girl You Left Behind by Jojo Moyes, Stella Bain by Anita Shreve, or A Forgotten Place by Charles Todd. So that's The Poppy Wife by Caroline Scott. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week for another Tuesday Shelf Talk. Bye!